Janet's away for 3 days, so I've come down to the boat for a couple of nights. Oh, it's nice. Come down here and the weather is just beautiful today. We've had some wild winds and just big storms over the last couple of days, but she's been at me to get some things done, and one of those big things is the plumbing. We need to get it totally finalised. I've got all the hot water and everything working. Haven't got it hooked up to the engine yet. I'm running it from 240 volts at the moment, which is actually fine because it only takes about 10 minutes to get enough hot water for a shower. So there's a couple of things I've got to do today. So there is one pressing issue that's driving us nuts, and that is the pump cycling. So down in here, I didn't have a lot of room for it anywhere else. We have a pump down here in the bottom of our robe, and because I haven't got doors on yet, we spent a couple of nights here, and every time the toilet flushes, the sink goes on, brrr, brrr, and it's driving me mad, and I'm going to insulate it somehow. I'm not sure. I've got a whole lot of insulation for the engine room to install, and I'm going to make a box or something to go around it. But one issue that we've actually come across is I've got these cheap 1 litre accumulator tanks installed in line after the pump, and the idea of those is they have a membrane in them that's under pressure at about 17-18 psi, and it holds the head pressure for the pump. The pump's down in here, and it runs through to this accumulator tank, which is about the only place I could put it, and then off to the system. And we've got one of those on each side, so every time a toilet flushes, the pump cycles. We don't want that. We want to try to avoid the pump cycling at all costs as many times as possible. So our mate Joe, who lent us all of his PEX pull-on crimping tools to do the entire boat, and honestly we've got the most brilliant plumbing system. It's going to last for 100 years unless a rat gets in and chews it, which is not going to happen. He was discussing it with me and gave me 2 8-litre pressure tanks. Now these are accumulator tanks, and these actually hold I think it's 130 kilopascals or 17 to 18 psi of pressure, which is around 3 psi less than the pump pressure. And the idea is that it has a membrane inside it like a tire in a tube, but it's actually a better quality than that. It's actually a butyl membrane that inflates, and it's full in there now, but when the head pressure comes onto the tap, it actually bulges inside this and remains as a volume distributing device, which actually stops the pump cycling so often. So these things are essential. I don't know how much these are, probably $100 each, $200 each, but I'm going to install that where the other one is, and hopefully that's going to alleviate some of our cycling and also extend the pump life by probably 4 times because of the size of this. This is 8 times the size or the volume of the current accumulator tanks that I have. So it's going to be a bit of a mongrel to fit because Janet has to sacrifice some wardrobe space, and I'm not sure she knows about that yet. Coming up with a bracket that is going to support this has been a bit of a battle. There's not really anything out there because it's designed to sit on top of an agricultural pump, and it obviously doesn't. It's just self-supporting on the actual fitting. So what I've come up with is a poly T fitting with these brass 1/2-inch inlets and outlet on each side, and this will get screwed onto here, and then it just simply goes in line. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to put a couple of these PVC electrical conduit clamps on each side, so they'll go like so, and then we'll have this bracket around it which should do the job and hold it in place. Okay, so this is a John Guest fitting here. I originally designed this so I can remove these pumps quite easily. The original idea was to have the PEX pull-on fittings on each side and just have the entire system made out of that pull-on PEX system, but the problem was I wouldn't be able to interchange pumps, switch out fittings, switch out strainers without too much hassle and without having the crimper on board. So I've gone for John Guest's pull-ons from here just to the pump, just to enable an easy switch out at sea or whatever, and this is where it's really shining right now. So this is going to be replaced with an 8-litre accumulator tank. Hopefully that'll deal with the cycling problem I have here in this wardrobe here. You can see here I've actually got it mounted on a bracket that's actually lifted off the physical hull. I did that to avoid having too much reverberation through the hull, but it seems to still be pretty loud, so I think a foam or a soniform box around this made out of engine insulation will deal with the noise of that pump. It's not a heat issue, it's more a vibration issue, so we can really wrap it in foam and not worry too much about it. This one here I just need to undo here, and this is going to leak. Obviously I've got a towel in here to catch the most of it, but any water that goes through is just going to go into the bilge anyway. And of course, with any plumbing job, always depressurise the system. So turn off your pumps and drain all the water into a sink or something, just to make sure you've got no pressure in the system. Okay, so I've now got that free, and that accumulator tank has virtually no water in it. I've caught a little bit, but that's enough, and then I can unscrew the other side quite easily and install a new system. All right. It took a bit of working what part to screw in first, because once you get it in place, you're going to have to turn the whole tank to get it hooked up to the plumbing, but I think I've got it. I've actually got a poly fitting with two brass 3/4 BSP, two 1/2 inch standard tap fittings or faucet fittings here, and I don't want to over tighten this because it's poly. I've got plenty of thread tape on it. Probably didn't even need thread tape with the poly fitting, but worth trying, and this is going to be a spectacular difference, I'm hoping. As it stands, I didn't have enough room to turn this massive bloody tank in the one spot, so I've had to put the fitting on, and then I'll put the tank on and spin the tank. Actually a lot easier. In fact, it's better than this other one that had a straight through fitting, so it means I can actually unscrew the tank while it's in place, and that will make a big difference to its interchangeability. I mean, I expect this to last a long time. One thing, I was just doing some reading on it. They have a food grade epoxy liner on the inside of the entire tank, so very, very robust. It is a steel tank. I wish it was fiberglass or something, but I'm sure it'll last a long time, given it's only fresh water, and hopefully it'll last inside this environment in here, in the cupboard in here. Hopefully the salt won't get to it. You know, I expect every 10 years I have to replace this, and that's pretty good for $100. Alright, that install is now done. So it is actually taking up quite a bit of the wardrobe, so I might think about another solution a bit later on, but anyway, it's in and it's all plumbed in. I'll go and turn it on now and we'll see how we go. One thing worth noting on these accumulator tanks is the pressure valve on the top. You can actually use a bicycle pump to get the correct pressure. This is set at around 18 psi. The Jabsco Parmax 6 22 litre a minute pump that I have down here is set at around 20 to 21 psi, so we're in about 3 below. So let's see how much it cycles now that it's actually plumbed in. We'll go up here to the kitchen sink and we'll just run the water for a moment. We'll just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I'd call that a massive win. It used to cycle at around about every 2 seconds, so that is now cycling at 12, so I've just got 6 times the capacity and 6 times less that pump is pumping. So how to extend the life of your pump is put in a big accumulator tank. I'd have 20 litres if I could to avoid that noise, and essentially that's going to give me a lot more longevity with my pumps. I'm only hoping I can do it over in that portside bathroom because there isn't a lot of room in there, but I reckon I might be able to wiggle it in, so we'll see how we go. Now that we've moved into a whole different phase of the build, one of the most complex aspects of this whole project is the plumbing. I could have easily laid all the pipes and everything before we put in the floor or the sole of the Catamaran, but that would have been just too hard to think about how everything was going to route. So now I'm at the stage where I've actually got to be able to put sanitary hose and all the plumbing lines inside the boat now that it's all in place. The great thing about that is it means if I can put it in, it means I can pull it out and replace it. So the problem with a lot of these boats is they're built before the cap and the floor is put down, so that then access is near on impossible to get it out, and it costs a lot of money and a lot of time to access those hoses and electrical. But in our case, we put it all in after the actual construction was complete, so therefore we'll be able to then replace, remove, change out anything that we've put in after the fact. One of those is right here, the forward head on our starboard side. It's basically an ensuite, it's a wet head. I need to run a sanitary hose from the bow all the way back to the midsection of the boat where our blackwater storage is. Now the pump on the pump on the Jabsco electric flush toilet has the ability to pump it up to around, I think it's around about 5 to 10 meters. So I've only got about a 4 meter run here, into the black water tank, and obviously then we can pump it out following that. But I intend to put a Y valve up in there as well. There's plenty of stuff going on here. I've got a massive roll of sanitary hose here that's been taking up this head for some time. Janet's away for the weekend. I thought I'm going to get it done while she's away, and then obviously when we go out we'll be able to use the head at least for storage, if nothing else, even if I don't get the toilet installed in the next few days. So this massive roll of 38mm sanitary hose has to be fed through the back of the head here, all the way along the floor here to this compartment here where the black water tank is underneath here. So the great thing is that when I was building the boat, and the bulkheads underneath have actually got large sort of 50mm hose conduits in each bulkhead to enable these large bore hoses to go through. Once I've got that hooked up, it'll get rid of a lot of the excess hose that I have sitting around the boat. That pretty much all the other plumbing supplies have actually removed themselves from the boat. I've got all that excess brass and all the PEX tools and everything are now off the boat, which is great, and we're getting our storage back, which is really nice, so we can go cruising in a couple of months' time when we head off. So getting this hose in is going to be no mean feat. It's going to be a lot of process getting it underneath the floor here. The floor of the head here actually is removable, so everywhere I've got access in all these floor hatches means that I can easily maneuver this hose. However, the hardest part is right under the door there. There's actually a hole that I left with a conduit in it, and that conduit is right at the bottom of the boat. So basically the head will have to flush down and back up to the back up to the black water tank, and to make that work. All right, I've got it through that bulkhead just there, and now I've got this spare water tank that I installed 4 or 5 years ago, and you can see it's actually coming down along the top here. I've actually got the hoses there, so it's come through the bulkhead. It's actually come through the bulkhead there that I've made allowance for such a long time ago. I'm trying to keep it out of the limber hole. We don't want too much interfering in that limber hole. A lot of boats will go through the limber hole with a lot of the hosing, but I just think it's a catch point, and if anything falls up against it and you've got a couple of hoses there, you could end up with some big problems. As you can see here, I've got my plumbing lines, my cold and hot water going through there as well, and then there's another one up high there, and that is for the shower sump. So this one here will come all the way through and then make its way through one of these guys here all the way along. So I can't believe the forethought that went into this. I think I spent more time thinking about how I was going to do something 5 years ahead than I did actually building the boat. And the reason why I did that is because I foresaw a lot of these problems as we go through. I'd been through so many different boats trying to work out what's the best way to do this, and I think I really came up with a good method. Ultimately, it made a massive difference to the flow of how I've been able to fit the boat out after the fact, or after the manufacture of the shell was finished. Look, solving problems at sea is never fun, but it's going to be a lot more fun when you don't have to basically extricate stuff out when you just simply can't access it. This is where things get a bit complicated, because I've got a lot of plumbing on the top of this water system. I cannot get used to this camera. I've got a new DJI camera, and it actually follows me everywhere I go. It's pretty freaky. It's like this bloody little robot operating totally remote to me, and it's quite odd. Beyond freaky. Tried not to show you guys too much of this mess that I've left here, but this side here is not plumbed in at all. So before I can do anything, the good thing is I've got the hose here from the forward head, and it's relatively flat all the way along, which is great, which means that it's going to gravity feed from the toilet all the way in here with a little bit of pump pressure and a bit of water. So one of the things I designed when I was trying to work this all out is how to clean out the build, because there's a lot of the times when you'll get stuff down in there that really is going to create a lot of problems for you. So I made this system where I can actually physically lift it out. Not perfect, but at least I know it works. It just means that I can actually get down in there and clean out any debris or any crap that might accumulate down in there with a vacuum, and to ensure that I don't foul the pump. We delayed our takeoff this morning, and 35 knots. Not good. Check this out. And we're heading towards a safe sheltered area, but my God, it's windy. It's right on 30 knots now, 29, and we just got absolutely smashed from bridge deck slamming, so I guess that's what you expect. And there's a mooring over here that we're going to hook onto and wait this wind out so that we can get further out towards the open water, but at this stage we're just going to hang out and have a bit of a rest. I think that was hard enough. Well, I had a bit of a nice day today. We headed out of the creek and immediately hit by a 34 knot southerly wind. I'd say 34 conservatively, into about 1.5 meters of swell and about 1.5 meters of chop, and we had some bridge deck slamming. Don't ever want to be driving into that again, not for a long time anyway. We sort of thought the wind had dropped, but by the time we got out of the river mouth it was clear that it hadn't, and we've been over here at Holden Street in Vincentia, which is basically perfectly sheltered from the southerly, and we're on a mooring, and we're going to head out to Hole in the Wall now. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, sun's going down here. It's a magic anchorage. It's a mooring that my mate Ronnie uses a lot, and yeah, well, it's not yours anymore, mate, sorry to say. I'll be using this quite a bit. There's only one here, there's only one public mooring here, but it is totally sheltered from the southerly, which comes from that direction obviously there. But we're going to head out to Hole in the Wall. We've started up the motors, and Janet's going to get up front and drop the mooring buoy, and we're going to head off. You right to go? Yep. Yep, we're going to head out and have a nice time, eh? Yeah. Going out for 2 nights, pretty happy. Yeah, yeah,
well,
awesome.
I'm here, I'm enjoying it now.
Yep, cool. Back on your headset. I think I might put my jacket on here, I'm a bit cold. Just wondering when summer is ever going to come. We've had, seriously, a couple of, I laid up a kayak hole the day before yesterday in 34 degrees, and today 16 if I'm lucky. It's just unbelievable how bloody cold it's been, and we're around about the middle of November at the moment, so you'd expect it to be warming up a little bit now. One thing I did notice when I was coming over this morning in that high wind is I didn't have my main sheet tight enough, and this guy here, the boom was bouncing around a little bit, so very good policy every now and then just to make sure everything's snug, tight and secure, so that your rigging's not going to cop all the abuse, because there was a bit of banging going on as we came over, and most of it was because we really didn't prepare for that. And we had coffee flying everywhere and cups of tea and stuff like that, you know, pots and pans and whatever. Janet said we.
I'm just interested. I said, we're not ready to go yet. I want to go now.
Alright, I'm ready to go. Alright, get up the front and do your thing. This thing just blows me away how much power it has. It's incredible as a power boat. I mean, we're not going to try and sail tonight. It's getting late in the day and we want to get to the mooring for the night. So, but just to motor along at 8 knots is just fantastic, and that's not even half of the speed. I think we probably get to 14. We're getting a bit bouncy now as we come around the point here. We just arrived at Hole in the Wall. Sat down for some cheese and biscuits. Dolphins swimming around the back. How good's that? Fantastic. Oh God, there's heaps of them. They swam right under the boat. We've got Anui 52-foot crowther over here. So look them up. They've got a good little website.
There's a baby with that one.
Yeah, that's so cool. Welcome to Hole in the Wall. I love it.
Favourite spots in Jervis Bay.
Yep. Oh, just trotting a puddle with my socks on.
The other one is
Look at this. Look at this. We had 35 knots southerly earlier on, and look at it now. It is just magnificent. Just had a beautiful walk on the beach after a bit of a sleepless night with the moorings, and it's just gorgeous in there at Bristol Beach and Hole in the Wall. So we've got a beautiful sort of coastal beach here with the bush coming right up to the shoreline. It's absolutely stunning, and we had a nice swim and a bit of a rinse off, and it's been absolutely beautiful morning. But right in there on the beach in there is Dane from Sea Kayak Jervis Bay, and we started that business 1995, so it's 30 years old this year, and he's in there still conducting sea kayaking tours, and he's having morning tea in there on the beach, and that's nice for us, that's really nice for Janet and I to see that it's still ongoing. And currently I'm making him some brand new kayaks for his fleet as well, so the legacy continues. And he just said to us, it's so nice to see us out in the wild, and that is a good thing for us. He paddles along this coastline about 3 or 4 days a week, and he is a dolphin whisperer, this bloke. I've never seen a guy get so many dolphins as young Dane does. And follow him on Sea Kayak Jervis Bay Instagram site, and you'll see the stuff that he sees is just absolutely fantastic, and for us to have a part in that is just such a wonderful thing. And we've anchored up beside Sailing Anui. It's actually a catamaran, beautiful blue Crowther 52. It's got a big vinyl wrap on the side of it too. It just looks stunning on the side of this boat, this blue wrap. It looks like the ocean, and it's absolutely beautiful over there. And they're over there this morning. We've just sent out a message to them, and they're friends of Liz and Darren's that we know from Huskisson here, and they've got a crazy little thing, and Darren's moored up opposite to us in the river. So we're going to stay another night out here. We'll probably move from this side as the wind is to come from the north, and we're right on the southern end of the bay here, and it can get a little bit bouncy here. So not that it wasn't last night. Every single wave that came in woke me up. I'm just not used to it yet. It's going to take some time to adjust. And while I'm jabbering away to myself, Janet's in here doing what she does well. What's happening?
Breakfast. A very late breakfast brunch. So bacon.
You poor buggy, you got a bruise on your forehead when you headbutted the shroud last night. At 2:15 this morning, I went up to solve this bloody mooring buoy. I make the trek to the front, and next minute Janet arrives and dives forward and headbutts the four-beam shroud, or the basically the four-beam cable, and the poor bugger's now got a massive bruise on her head. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I haven't even seen this bruise, and you're all getting to see it before me.
That's fantastic. It would have hurt too, because you died for it, but you didn't see it. Just crack. You were still asleep, weren't you, honey?
No, I was.
Okay. It's not all good news out here. That was a bit of a rough night. It was funny. You went bang, and I went, oh, I bet that hurt. And I almost forgot about that, but it was 2 a.m. this morning. Swell's going to be quartering at you now. It'll be hitting you in the back quarter here. You better have been sailing, but we're going the wrong way. There's a yacht up there with a mast sailor. Got Pete and Sue over here on Luca Mew Seawind 1160, and they've just come in, just beat us to the anchor spot that we wanted, but that doesn't matter because it's a bloody beach. It's called Long Beach for a very good reason, and there's a lot of fishermen along here today, and it's a very popular spot because it's out of the nor'easter.
27 knots tomorrow, westerly.
Wow, that's big wind. That's no good. We'll have to go in early.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a big yacht monohull just anchored off the back of us here, and Luke and Mew, who is a local Seawind 1160, Pete and Sue, and he's over there scrubbing his hull, I think, at the moment. And I get a day off, which is really cool. So Tic Tac's found another couple of jobs for me.
I don't like that name because it's not true.
Ticked a couple of jobs off yesterday.
Do you know what? This man can't sit still for 5 minutes and he finds jobs for himself and me, but I get called Tic Tac.
Anyway, so what's happening is the flooring. We're out at Long Beach at anchor and relaxing, so I may as well do the edging of the flooring. We chose not to do black. We chose to do a hardwood brown colour, which is basically the same colour as the Tassie Oak trim, and it requires a lot of masking. I can probably do it without masking, but I don't want to because it's a bit messy. But I've started down in here, and this actually looks really good. It's finished it beautifully, and I did yesterday, did the staircase and the join of the wall to the floor, so it's come up really, really nice, and I'm prepared to do that all the way through the boat now. There's a fair bit to do, so a lot of masking, a lot of prep work again. Bit of a rough night last night at anchor. We started off with a really strong northerly wind at about 8 o'clock last night, so we were actually hanging this way looking towards this beach, and then the wind died and then this westerly came up, and the problem with the westerly is it's now put our bum towards the beach, and that was a bit of a rough experience for Janet and I. We were hurriedly downloading anchor apps about 11 o'clock last night, and then I must have got up 20 times checking the anchor. I don't know why. You got to learn to trust this big Sarka 6, 35 odd kilos of pure and utter bite. It's not letting go anytime soon, but as a result we're now aiming this way and down towards that shore there, and we're still probably 100 meters offshore. And Janet, he downloaded an app, and the bloody thing went off about every 5 minutes because the wind was very fluctuating all over the place from west to northwest to sort of southwest, and now we've got pure westerly. So we're about to head off this morning after about 2 hours of sleep, and yeah, it was all good fun, you know, all good learning on this trip. We've had a few nights on a mooring and a night now on anchor over here at Long Beach, and the winds can be very fickle over here and quite strong too, so we've already got about 10 to 12 knots blowing here, and we'll head off and head back home now. But it was a nice couple of days for me. I've been working pretty full on at the factory doing these boats that I'm making. These guys over here, I was watching their boat all night, so just making sure that we were relatively in the same position, and we were. The only problem was I couldn't see which way they were facing, but it was pretty clear to me that their back end was going to be doing exactly the same as us. Being a cat, we tend to go all over the place. We're not exactly hanging on the wind, and it depends sometimes where the rudders are. So if they're centered, you'll generally sit dead in line with your with the wind, but certainly not a guarantee, as I've learnt last night. And the head is displaying my state of disheveledness at the moment. It's yeah, feeling a little bit wrecked after a couple of bad nights sleep, but anyway, I had a good kip in the afternoon yesterday, so that was all good. We're just batting down the hatches, and we're going to go for a little sail potentially on the way home and try and meet the tide coming into our mooring. Alright, well, we're underway. Anchoring easy. Staying at anchor at night, not so easy. You just got to trust the system, and definitely trust it. And got a couple of war wounds from that effort. I've got to get some gloves for inside our anchor well, because there's a couple of sharps underneath that I haven't quite dealt with yet. But shouldn't be admitting to that, but that's the way it is. Enjoying yourself?
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
Awesome day, isn't it? Winds definitely due west. Degrees, it's a sweet spot. We're 53 degrees into the wind, so that's the sweet spot with 3 reefs. I just don't think it's balanced because the steering's a bit awkward, but anyway, we'll see how that goes. So we tried a tack, and I forgot that I'd actually locked the self-tacking jib in place because it was rattling the other night, driving us mad in bed. So we didn't tack, we got caught in iron, so we're on a starboard tack again. We're actually heading into the wind. Not fast, but we are heading into the wind, which is nice. And 57 degrees or 52 to 51 degrees seems to be about the sweet spot where everything's happy. But we're not going fast because we've still got this stinking 3 reefs in the main that we keep forgetting to shake out. And we've got to head home, so we haven't got time to deal with it today. But anyway, we'll see how we go.
Especially when I'm on board, because I really don't know what I'm doing. So.
Oh yeah, but we're going to go full sail, Jen.
Oh, we have to. No, I wasn't talking about the speed. I'm talking about shaking it out here.
Oh yeah. Well, Janet's not tall enough either to.
Yeah.
In.
So one of the things I suggested was that we wait for, mind you, I don't know when one's going to happen, a no-wind day, so we can shake them out on our mooring, so that Ross and I fully understand how they work.
What do we get to? 5.1 knots.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive for us. Well, we shook out the 3rd reef, and that was good. It's a little bit of a process, but we've certainly got it dialed in a little bit now. Nice. So that's 2 reefs there, everyone, and that's at about 80% of main. We've got a little bit of luffing going on there, but the wind is gusting from the west today. So after 3 days out, it's been a friggin' nice trip, and we've got to head back. So we'll probably have a bit of a tack into the wind and head back across towards Huskisson and come back into town. And sadly have to go back to work because we've had a really nice time, and it was beautiful over at Long Beach. Stayed over on that anchorage over there, over where that yacht is, right in the distance. You guys won't be able to see it, but we were there all night and got bumped around a little bit by the changing winds, and we didn't quite set the anchor alarm early enough, and that sort of got us a little bit stressed. But anyway, all good learning. I don't think you can learn enough, can you?
It's constant.
It is constant, yeah. It's a constant learning exercise, this. But anyway, we're sort of cruising at 4 to 5 knots, and that's pretty nice. In about what's the wind speed?
12.7.
Yeah, so 12.7 knots. We're getting about 5 knots of course or speed over ground. So, and given we're still got 2 reefs in the main, so it's not at full sail yet. We're only at about 80%, and we're at full jib. But yeah, that's nice. I feel really good about that. 7 knots. 7 knots. Can you believe it? How cool. Rocketing along, and 15 knots of wind. So that's cool with 2 reefs. So that's promising. That's faster than the original boat ever went on. So we're at 7 knots with 2 reefs, and that's total inexperience. But anyway, we're flying along at 61 degrees apparent. So not optimum, and around about 55 is the optimum at the moment. We're ready to head in, unfortunately.
Okay.
What a morning. We had 50 knots yesterday over the bow here on this mooring here at Vincentia, and luckily there's a public mooring here. It's rated to 20 tonne at 40 knots, so we well, I don't think we're that heavy, but we had wind way above that. The yacht beside us, he seemed to settle pretty well at anchor, but it was a pretty wild afternoon, and I think I had the best night's sleep I've ever had in my life after that couple of nights of sleepless nights with wind changes and mooring balls smashing up and down underneath the boat. But we're going to head off. We're going to head up to the wharf hopefully and replenish our water supplies, maybe give the boat a hose down after all the spin drift that covered the boat in salt yesterday. First time it's had a really good bash of salt, but yeah, what a day. It is just absolutely stunning here today. People swimming on the beaches over here, guys fishing, and we're about an hour from home, so we'll head home today and put the boat back on the mooring. We've got to get back to work, unfortunately. It's been a beautiful 3 nights, even though there was a lot of adventures and a lot of learning. What's very clear to me about this is you never stop learning, and there's all these little things you got to put into your wallet of experience, and hope that doesn't happen again. And things like that mooring ball and those wind changes. We learned a lot about anchoring and anchor apps. Very important to have a good anchor app, because some of them are a bit dubious and some of them just simply don't work. So we've learnt that pretty fast. We've got the engines on. Janet's up and ready to go. Finally get up. It's like 9 o'clock.
Oh, that is just not true. I was up before Ross.
You were up before me. But anyway, I'll get some sunscreen on and we'll get going.
Yeah.
Righto, so we're back in the creek and we're coming home, but we're going to go up and top up our water and give the boat a hose off after the 50 knot blast we copped yesterday. It's our mooring here, and we're just going to go another K up the creek and fill up with our water tanks, save me carrying water down every day when we come down. Darren's boat there having a little sleep. It's not a creek, it's a rivulet.